Hello, you guys. Good morning. I'm on here early because I gotta go get my hair done. So what I did was I washed my hair and conditioned my hair because I have the best products. Okay, I got my products are better than what the cheap stuff they use at the salons. Y'all know a lot of stylists don't invest money in good products anymore. I remember I used to love Dudley. It was black owned, but then at some point it started to, hey, Miss Clarinetta. At some point, you could tell when it was not the same anymore. So now what I use is there's this black girl. I use her stuff. I'm gonna reach out to her to see if she want to advertise with me. And of course, y'all know I pick up everything at Ross's, Marshalls, um, TJ Maxx. I got so much stuff. So I like to treat my hair though, and I see, but that's what keeps it really thick though. So when I go to the shop this morning, I'm gonna get my ends clipped. Yep, I'm going to a young man that I go to. The girl who did my hair when I did the segment with Own, she does really good, but she's very expensive. She's very expensive, so I don't mess with people like that. Good morning. It's snowing. Oh my God. It's snowing in Chicago. I got a friend that lives around Chicago. That said it was snowing the other day, like around it wasn't Chicago, like around Indiana. It was snowing, so it has gotten very cold in here. So you know what? I was telling my mom, I was like, I'm happy that it's cold now. Like in the winter, we need it to be cold. We need the winter weather when the winter comes in, because if it's warm, then we have those ice storms in like February and March. So if it gets cold when it's supposed to get cold, we have an early spring. And that's my favorite time of the year. I love the spring. Oh my God. I love it when to see the flowers bloom, the warm weather where it's not too hot. Woo! I love it. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you something. This winter, I've been so preoccupied because y'all know I'm back in school. Even though that philosophy class been kicking my butt, the last day is the 15th. Um, I still been it's been occupying a lot of my time. The My schoolwork normally around this time, like the caseloads are not as heavy, but been getting a lot of cases, so that kind of keeps me occupied too, and just enjoying life. Just enjoying life, like my grandbaby, my friends, and things that I'm planning to do. So that keeps me occupied all the time. I don't know why I like to do everything at one time. I think that's what I overwhelm myself sometimes, because I like to do multiple things to finish it all at one time instead of like doing one thing, finishing, doing another thing, finishing. I like to just take it all on at one time and just finish everything at once, which is so weird. I had to tune in for you live because I know you are about to preach this morning. Yes, yes, y'all know we wait for 5 minutes for everybody to come in. And it's funny because when I was in the shower washing my hair and stuff, I was I thought about this, stop trying to be understood and get about living your best life. I thought about that, and we're gonna talk about that because I think a lot of times people stagnate because they worry about the opinions of other people, right? Other people that's not, hey Miss Lakita, other people that's not doing half as much as what they're doing. Okay. Other people that's not doing half as much what they're doing. And it's funny because there's this little girl from out of North Carolina. I don't think she get enough shine. She's a rapper. Okay, I'm gonna play her song. She got a song. She got several songs that I like. I'm gonna play that song at the end of this video because it's so befitting for for this video. But I wanted to talk about, stop trying to be understood and get about living your best life. Um, I think it's asinine, and sometimes we don't understand that because we feel like, we want for people that we care about to understand us. Um, but I think sometimes it goes over some of our heads that you can't try to be understood to people that are committed to misunderstanding you. And I know sometimes when we care about people, we go, well, I care about them. It's my husband, that's my wife, that's my family, that's my sister, my brother. This is my blood. So I want them to understand me. We feel like because these are people that are in close proximity to us, that we really just want them to understand our position, and it wasn't like that. But we forget that sometimes people that are close to us are just committed to misunderstanding us. No matter, no, regardless of what you do or say, they are just committed to misunderstanding you because deep down inside there's some type of issue. And I think we stay stagnant because we feel like people that are closest to us, we forget that they can be the enemy too, right? We forget that they can be the enemy too. And I get to thinking about, like how people say in relationships and stuff, and they've been sleeping with the enemy forever. And they just totally omit their happiness because they're creatures of nature, right? I'm so happy now that I'm so not a creature of nature. Like and I think I've been like that. Like I get comfortable with something, but then I make up my mind. This right here ain't going. This ain't. I want to be happy. I cannot be unhappy. Like I think people have to make up their minds, and it could be amicable. Because if you just have a conversation, you might realize that the other person go, listen, hey, listen, I ain't happy either. Like I ain't this right here ain't been working for me for 15 years. I remember Patti LaBelle with her husband Armstead. I was a young girl. I always remembered this when she was like on Oprah and she did an interview and she was like, me and Armstead are still friends. They had been married for like 30 years. And she was like, we were married for 30 years, but 15 of those years I didn't want to be married to him. Like I've been unhappy for 15 years. Like that's a very long time to be with somebody that you don't want to be with. Hey, I always feel like in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or whatever, you should be able to part just like you came together. I had a friend that we all grew up with, me, Vanessa. She was more my friend. We all grew up in the same projects. She was more my friend than Vanessa's. But we all went to school together, all grew up in the same project. And just, when we moved out of the projects, just like Vanessa would come and spend the night. She would too. And what I started to notice was because see, Vanessa would always do her own thing. She would always do her own thing. Vanessa was always a mastermind of everything. She was real quiet and she was just real crafty. She was real quiet with it though. And but I never knew Vanessa to have a jealous spirit, right? This particular young lady, as we got older, she had I saw that spirit of jealousy that she had as a child, she didn't outgrow it. That saboteur spirit that always wanted to compete with me. If I said something, waiting for me to see if I'm a lie. I don't lie. I don't lie. I don't have to. You know what I mean? Um, and if I said and or last time I thought you said and last time I thought you said or this time you're saying and just that spirit of jealousy. And so what I did was I outgrew her. Okay. And I remember when I started outgrowing her, like our kids were still young. When she would call us, I just stopped answering the phone because I don't know, when God starts to change you, I mean, hey, it's good just not to fight against the change. Sometimes your tastes change. I don't really want that as a friend. People may call you flaky, but I think when God is trying to position you and you start feeling differently, it's time to just go ahead and cut them people off. Okay. And hey, I wish her the best and I think she's doing good, but that's just not a person. I don't want a friend that has the type of attitude. Well, hey, such and such, I went and got a red car, she went and got a red car. That's little girl shit to me. I don't rock like that. Okay. See, my thing is stop. I don't get jealous of what other people have going on because I'm too busy constantly trying to outdo myself. Right. Not trying to outdo somebody else, but I'm trying to outdo the last thing. Stop. I'm trying to outdo the last thing that I did. Okay. The last goal that I met, I'm trying to outdo that goal. Right. And you know, when I feel like people get caught up in having folks like that around them and it stagnates them because they're jealous. A person with a jealous spirit just has a jealous spirit, right? And oftentimes you'll find yourself, when you have successes, because we have to start somewhere. You might just make up your mind, hey, look, I just want to do better in life. I just want to do better. And it's good to have a good support system to cheer you on. I don't care how small it is. It makes you feel good. Like if you did something, taking little small steps. It's good to have somebody to cheer you on to say, "Hey, good job." You know what I mean? But when you got people around you, I mean, anybody could have did that. I mean, that ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It keeps you stagnant. I'm not saying become codependent on people cheering you on because you got to believe in yourself, right? But when you start taking those small steps, what start to happen is a lot of times when you believe in yourself and you don't become codependent on people telling you, you you don't become codependent on people telling you that you're doing that you're doing a good job. Those people start to fall off anyway, and God start to position you and put you in different circles. Hold on, y'all. I forgot I got some boiled eggs on, child. Hold on. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. I gotta let them cool off, but I made my coffee. Um, but oftentimes God you'll start to change in ways your taste and stuff, will start to change. Okay. And then when you get into alignment with your best self, blessings start to chase you down. And I'm not braggadocious. When I talk about things that go on in my life, because I think starting from like June, I said I'm not gonna harp on bad things. Like I don't have bad things that happen to me. I have lessons. Okay. I'm not gonna harp on it. I just have lessons. I have growth. That's how I look at it because I understand how powerful words are. But when you get into alignment and you decide, hey, whatever you serve, I serve God. For God I live, for God I die. Everything I do is about God. You know, things just start to change, right? It even at my job, and I know for me, I had taken more work from defense attorneys in the past. I've done work for prosecutors in different counties around the Tennessee area, but the job that I have now is about prosecution. And when you realize that God has put you somewhere, like you don't go there to serve your supervisor because your supervisor is there to serve somebody. You go there to serve. It's about God. Then what God starts to do is make you a light. You don't have to chase down anything. Okay, you don't have to try to be understood, especially when you are in alignment, not being, a nasty, because some people are just nasty. The things that they say, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Well, I just speak my mind. No, you just rude. Okay, you just rude, and I don't like rude people. Okay, because it costs nothing. It costs nothing, even if you gotta say it. Even if you're an honest person, it's good to be honest. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? But some people just so nasty, they want for people to feel the effect of them. They're just pitiful, right? Well, once you get into alignment and you go, I'm here for a purpose. God has put me here for a purpose. Then you ain't even got to raise your hand to be seen. God will fix it where you'll stand out. Okay. And even if you never stand out, you'll feel like, damn, I'm serving my purpose. So the next house that I go to, hey, I might be thinking I'm going here for one thing, but God is getting ready to, if somebody has been falsely accused, God is getting ready to allow that to come out. Somebody get ready to be exonerated that has been falsely accused. Okay. That's my purpose, to be a light. So somebody can look at me and say, I don't know what it is about this woman, but I sure feel comfortable with sharing things with her. Right. One of the reasons why, when I was out in the field doing private work, I was able to get quite a bit of work, and I was tired from defense attorneys. Okay. Was because I could go. It was, I believe, a light on my life. And I had people who they wouldn't talk to the police because I'm not the police. Now you don't get in that. They would tell me things that would help defense attorneys, with their clients, especially if they were if they were innocent, right? And so that's why I say we have to get into alignment and get about living our best life and say, God, just use me. Okay, even when they throw tomatoes at me, hey, it bounced right off me. You keep me clean, okay? You keep me protected. Some of us are so chosen because we're flawed. All of us are flawed. We're so chosen and so favored. We've gotten out of alignment and did things that we've been accused of things that we know we did. Okay, everything that they accused, everything wasn't a lie. A lot of times we've gotten accused of things and we said they lied. No, everything was not a lie. Okay. But because of the favor on your life, okay, God protected you anyways, right? And so that's why I say, y'all, we have to get into alignment and get about living our best life and stop looking at what other people got going on. When you run in a race, I mean, you'll run into something constantly trying to look back to see what somebody else got going on. Okay. I was so proud of myself when I got back into school. Like, everything started to align when it was time. Like when I said before, I was starting, I would stop, I was starting, I would stop. That's why I'm so like dedicated. It makes me feel so good to know all of these years later, because I started going to school right after I graduated high school. And then I got pregnant with my first daughter while I was in college. And um as soon as I started, she got about a year or so. I was like, my dad was like, "Well, I think, girl, Gail, you need to go on back and finish your education." And I did, and then I got pregnant again. I found out I was pregnant again. I was like, "Oh my God." It's just a so it makes me feel good to know all of these, because my oldest daughter is 27 years old, right? So all of these years later, I'm finally finishing, and all of the twists and turns that I've gone through, like, a lot of times that we go through, because a lot of times, we start off doing something, and then when God starts to grow us, okay, we end up finishing differently. Like when I first started college, 27 years ago, um maybe 28 years ago, I my major was speech and theater, right? Speech and theater. And I was like, I'm gonna do some theater, and I'm gonna learn how to speak real good, and then I'm going to move to California. That's what I said I was gonna do. And I remember that there was this show on MTV called The Real World. I know you, if you all of my age, you can remember that. And I actually signed up and um uh, f- you know filled out an application or whatever. And I wanted to go and be a part of The Real World. And then it was just weird how things turn out, right? I ended up getting pregnant, and my mother was like, "Well, I think you should change your major, because you're gonna have a baby now, and be doing whatever it is that you want to do." I don't know what I want to do. I thought I guess I thought I wanted to be an actress or something like that. And she was like, "You're gonna have a lot of hungry days, right? And so you need to major in something whereas you got something firm, so that you can get a job where you can feed that baby." And so, um, you know what? I saw a little bit of it, John Brown, and you know what? We're gonna talk about that too. I saw a little bit of it, and so, anyways, I ended up changing. I remember, I changed my major. And it's something when life is predestined. That's the reason why I say, just get about doing whatever it is that you're supposed to do. And then if you stay in communication with the higher power, with God, the universal God, or whatever it is that we call it, you'll get on the right path. I promise to God, you won't be able to miss. And so, I got back in. I thought about changing my major, and then I got pregnant again. Okay, left school, got back in school, was still taking the speech and theater, and then I got pregnant again. I was like, "Yeah, my mom is right. I do need to change my major to something." And y'all know I told y'all about, like, I didn't want my dad to know I was pregnant. I didn't tell my dad I was pregnant until I was 7 months pregnant. And he told me, right? My mama said, he was like, "She is not gonna tell me." So I just had to go on and tell her I knew that she was pregnant. And I was walking downtown one day. This is how like, when things start happening for you, when things happen early on, especially when you're trying to find your way in life and stuff, and you could still be trying to at an old age, you could be trying to find, you could decide, listen, hey, I've lived for everybody else. Everything that I've done has been for my kids, for my husband. I want to find my way. I don't think it's ever too late. And I think people get stuck in that because people say that you old. What you gonna do? You old? No, you never too old to try and find your way to be happy. Because once you start finding your way and trying to figure out what it is that you want, that's what makes you happy, right? And so I think people should get out of like being stuck, you know, and what I guess what the masses say on, well, if you've been doing this for 50 years, you've been married to this person for 50 years, why you want to be unmarried to them now? Hey, because I want to be happy. I've been unhappy for 50 years and I want to detox all of this stress that has been in my, it's got to be stressful to be married to somebody for 20, 25, 30 years that you don't even want no more. Right? And so that's why I say, y'all, stop trying to be understood and get about living your best life, right? A lot of times when you make up your mind that you're going to do something, especially if you got a bunch of negative people around you, it's best not to even tell them anyways, because they'll try to talk you out of it because they mad because they don't have the get up and go to go and do what it is that you're doing. They're stuck or they don't know who they are. So they want you to sit around and be drunk with them all the time, be high, talk negatively, talk bad about people. A lot of times, folks will go, well, what is it? I ain't got nothing. Why would anybody be jealous of me? Let me tell you something. People will sit around and watch you. They'll see the light that's on your life. They'll see how people love you. They'll see how you can figure things out. They already know you smart. You don't even realize how talented and gifted you are, but they realize it. They realize that if you ever change your mind, that whatever you put your mind to, you're going to start winning. So people sit around instead of trying to figure out their life, they sit around and size up and try to figure out people all the time, especially their weaknesses. So they might know that it might frustrate you. You get a little frustrated when you have an idea about doing better and they shoot it down. Well, this, and that, and it might frustrate you a little bit. Well, yeah, that is a long shot. Get people like that away from around you. Get people like that away from around you. So I think 60% of people they're stuck because of the ticks that they have around them. It's not beneficial to them for you to start doing better, to start thinking better, because then they can't suck your blood, to suck the blood out of you anymore. It is beneficial to them. They're living off of your dysfunction, right? They're living off of you because of your low self-esteem. But if you ever change your mindset, you're going to start to change the people that is around you, and you start to do better. And when you start doing better, you see people that's doing better, they ain't committed to misunderstanding you. Hell, if you say something, they committed to trying to understand you. Well, look here, let's get an understanding. Okay, because they understand how important relationships is. So they ain't committed to trying to misunderstand you. They committed, listen, I like you now. Let's get an understanding. That's the difference in a person that ain't got shit going on, that's committed to being negative, and a person that's really got something going on. Let's have a conversation, because we need to go ahead and get an understanding. Did you mean it this way? Because, hey, I like you. Okay? When you start to know who you are and you get about living your best life, those are the types of people that you start to get around you. Okay, they're not going to be hating on you because they're trying to figure out, well, maybe we can collab, because see, it's about the bottom line. It's about making money. You can't produce money with somebody that is committed to just using other people. Okay, and oftentimes if they're using other people, trust me, they're using you some kind of way too. I don't deal with users. Okay, what's up, Miss Tierney? Right? So stop trying to be understood by people that ain't got a pot to piss in. They ain't got a pot to give you to piss in. Okay, and they ain't got no tissue to give you to wipe your ass after you shit, because they can't even wipe their own ass. Okay, get about living your best life. Okay, like I said, when I was in the shower this morning washing my hair and stuff, and taking my shower, because like I said, I got to be at the salon at pretty early this morning. That's what came to my mind. Like, Stop trying to be understood by people that can't give you nothing, because most people that can't give you nothing, they're committed to misunderstanding you. Stop telling your family members and stuff all of these grand ideas that you have, especially when you're trying to come out of when you're trying to come up. Okay, a lot of people are just born into toxic families. Like, for instance, I love my mother's family. I love them so much. I love them so much. I grew up around my mother's family. Um, I did. I grew up around them. I love them. Okay, we've always been very close. But it's certain things that I cannot tell them. Okay, and my mama say all the time, like with my great aunts and stuff, um, when, did she do such and such? Yeah, she did it. Oh, okay. And even with my mama, my mother is a real safe person. And it's just that they were taught to be safe. Get you a job that can pay your bills, work, and ain't nothing wrong with that. And just be safe. Just be safe. Don't try to do anything outside of the box, because then you're doing too much. Don't ask for too much, because God ain't pleased with that. That's unfortunately almost like the slave mentality, because that's what the slave masters taught. And so my great grandmother was born in 1906, and so that's kind of what she taught my great aunts and stuff. She raised my mom and a lot of my mom's cousins and stuff. She taught them to be safe, because that's all they knew. But I'm not a safe person. I want to, because see, I know God says I came to give you life, and give you life more abundantly. Okay. And I shall not lack. Okay. I want all great things. I won't sit. I'm willing to put in the work, and I want mine, and I'm gonna go get it. And that's what I do. And so my mama said that one of my great aunts said to her, that gal said she gonna do something, and she go do it. That's exactly, she ain't scared of nothing. But what is it to be scared of? Success? What is it to be scared of? You have to ask yourself that. And see, my great aunt is like in her 80s, so I understand. But what is it to be scared of, other than I ain't scared of success? And if you think about it, that's what some people are afraid of. They're afraid of how it's gonna look when they're struggling. If there's a struggle to get to it, anything worth having is, if worse is, you might have to struggle for it a little bit. Okay. But then after you do what's necessary, which is the hard work, and it ain't struggle, it's just hard work. Okay. Then what God will start to do is God will start to reward you if you are on the right path. Some of us are just on the wrong path, because we're on the path of trying to please people. Okay. I don't mean no harm. I don't mean to be vulgar. Sometimes you have to tell folks, kiss my ass. I'm getting ready to blaze my own trail. Fuck you and your mama and your daddy and your kids too. I'm gone. Y'all can't use me no more. Whether you are a man or a woman, okay? And get about blazing your own trail. Get into alignment with God, okay? You have to be a little gangster sometimes, because if you're too sweet now, they'll eat you. So you got to be a little firm. Okay. You got to be a little firm. And that means you just know who you are. Okay. Dominique says it's societal expectations and adults' peer pressure that has people thinking it's too late. That's exactly what it is. You have women in their 40s and stuff making bad decisions and marrying men that they never was supposed to marry. Because society has told them they're old. Girl, I'm just getting started. I would never want to go back to my 20s. Like, I think about, I was in my 20s, I was raising kids. I would have been so lost if I ain't had my folks. I was always trying to figure out who I was. I didn't really get about I always worried about what people said. Like, I think at some point I may have been like a people pleaser. Like, I knew that I was a loner, so I didn't want people to misunderstand me because sitting and being quiet all the time, people said people that do that is stuck up. So I wanted for people to know at one point, look, I'm just like you. I'm not stuck up. I'm just quiet and reserved. But at some point, hey, that peace and quiet, right? Because a lot of times you get to having conversations with people and then you regret the day you ever had a conversation with them, right? Lord, I just wish I'd never ever even spoke to that person. That person be so full of hell, right? But I ain't really started knowing who I was, I think, until like maybe my late 30s or something like that. I started to become grounded. um yeah, I think about that all the time. Like, dog, I wish that the way that I think now, I wish I was thinking like that, like in my 20s, but everything is a process, right? Everything is a process. I get to thinking about, I wish I had dated more. Like, I ain't really date because I was always taught that you're not supposed to bring men around your children and stuff. And I didn't get married because, my grandma and them, and it was just like generational stuff. I had kids, and so my grandma and them was like, it's not good to marry a man while your kids are young. That's the type of stuff that was taught in my family because, wait till your kids get grown before you marry somebody because you don't want to bring a man around your kids. You don't know what people are thinking. And those are the types of stuff. That's the type of stuff that I was taught. That's kind of staying in my mind all the time. Well, I ain't gonna have a man and he gonna mistreat my kids, or he might be doing some stuff to my girls behind my back. I don't want to have to kill him and stuff like that. And then working for the police department all those years, I think whatever fear it was that my family, whatever their beliefs was, whatever their fear was, um, it was um further validated when I started working for the police department in 2000, right? And seeing what happened to kids and all the stuff that I saw, I was like, well, maybe my grandma and them right. I ain't gonna, my girls are first, and I don't want to get no man that's doing stuff to my kids behind my back. So that was further validated, but I was not in alignment. You know what I mean? Because when you're in alignment with God or the higher power, the higher entity, I mean, everything is good for you. When you're in alignment, the people that come into your life, even if it's just for a little while, it ends up being good for you because it's to help to take you to another level. I think now people need to get to a point where, and I used to be like this. If somebody helped me, I felt like I was forever beholden to them. Like, I gotta always like carry this person with me because I'm a real loyal person. But hey, you have to understand that people come into your life for a season. Don't forget what they do for you if you ever see them on that path again. If you can help them do that, I just, hey, remember me, right? A lot of times people help you down. They just say, hey, look, if we meet in this path of life again, just remember me. If I need you, if you can, just remember me, right? And so, take the lesson, take the blessing, and then the season is up. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, hey, it ends right here. You got to go your way, I go my way. But if our paths come together again and either need some help, hey, I'm gonna remember what you did for me, right? I remember that. And you got to know that when you go your separate way, that is because God is taking you in another direction to elevate you, right? We're supposed to be consistently elevating in life, right? And so you can't elevate when you have all of that, what's the word I'm looking for? All of that heaviness of caring about what people who can't give you shit. They can't give you nothing. So a lot of these people that you want to understand you, they can't even give you nothing, right? They're committed to misunderstanding you to try to keep you low vibrational with their heaviness. Right? And once they understand you, once you feel like you've gotten them to understand you, they can't elevate you. They ain't got nothing to give you. So why are we trying to get them to understand? I don't care who it is, right? I don't care how close they are to you. Sometimes you have to just start ascending and elevating and leave behind the people that you love the most. Okay? You just have to do that. You just have to do it. I was talking to my dad's sister. I was letting her know about some things that I'm getting ready to do. And my auntie, was talking about, I miss my brother so much. She said, I don't have nobody to talk about politics with. She said, we came out of North Memphis. And she said, and so when my brother started talking about he was gonna run for office, and he started, my dad started doing like a paper, writing like a paper and for the coalition and putting it out and keeping working people abreast of what was going on. And she said, I was like, I know my brother didn't write this. And she said, but my brother kept going and going. And after a while, it looked like my brother, he just kept bettering himself. It looked like my brother would write them papers like he had a PhD. She said, when my brother started talking about he was going to run for office, we thought my brother was crazy. Like, my brother ain't never been to college like that. Ain't never been to college. She said, shoot, my brother ran for that election and won, and nobody could beat him, was in his position, ran and was elected more than anybody ever in that position. And then he went back to college, okay, and kept bettering himself after he got the position. And that was like, when my auntie was saying that to me, that was like like a light bulb that came on, and I think God gave me, she had her to say that. And this revelation is for anybody. Sometimes we be trying to wait until we feel like that we are ready to try to go get what we want. Okay. But you can go get it without being prepared. Okay, you can go get it without being ready. Sometimes God put you in a position because of your character. You got the fight, you got the heart to be there. Okay, and then you keep bettering yourself after you get there. A lot of times we just hold ourselves back because, well, I'm gonna go back to college first, and I'm gonna do this first because they gonna say this, they gonna say that. Who gives a damn what they say? Get about doing what it is. Get about living your best life. Get people out of your life that serves you no purpose. Okay? When people exit, you don't have to be mad. Okay? You don't have to be mad at all. Because anything that's for you is going, especially if you are in alignment, it's going to be right there with you. You'll have access to it. And so when you have a higher calling and it's something that's going to weigh you down, that's in your life, God is going to remove it anyways. It's going to be removed. So, hey, when people say that they're damaged and stuff because of betrayals of, friendships or intimate relationships, I think people need to let that hurt go and understand that was just a lesson. It was just a lesson. Okay. I remember that a few years ago, I was in a relationship with a guy, and I was like, dog, this right here, we vibe so good, and I know he's gonna be my husband. And then there was betrayal. And I was like, dog, how could he betray me? Like all of my energy towards him was so positive. How could he do that? His season was just up in my life. And even now I'm okay with it. You know, I was hurt for a little while, but I thank the Lord that oh, he came into my life. He taught me some things, and I think I was able to teach him some things because he's doing very well. And that's what you have to understand. Like, I remember he was saying, I want to, I love doing this. I was like, why don't you start, looking online at how they do that, and then go and take invest in getting you a few of those. I ain't gonna say exactly what it was, and then kind of fixing it up and then reselling it. And he's doing very well doing it now, right? So it was a meaning to it. Hey, when the season was up, it was just up. Okay. And that's for anything, regardless to how long it was or how short it was. It comes to teach us a lesson. It's never meant for us to hold on to the anger. Always, now, if that was betrayal, now if somebody did something to try and destroy you, um, you're welcome, imperfect angel. If somebody did something to try and destroy you, always remember that. Now, you don't ever let them back into your circle, back into your life. But you don't have to hold on to no hate either. You simply move on. Okay, God, I got that. I got that lesson. Okay, I got that lesson. But you don't stay stagnant on it. You just continuously move on, right? And people think, I know you got to be hurt. I ain't heard about shit. It taught me a lesson and I moved on. Okay, been moved on. And I think we have to get to those points instead of getting bitter. How are you going to say you want somebody in your life that's good for you? God is not getting ready to, it's so many good people out there that could be a match. God, and they pray all the time, and you got your bitter ass talking about, I'm a good person, but you bitter from previous relationships. God ain't get ready to let you be with no good person to ruin their life and your bitterness. I'm not a bitter person. I'm not. I ain't bitter about nobody from my past. Okay. It ain't with me because it ain't supposed to be with me. It's something better. Okay. That's why I don't mean no harm. Okay. I started back. Me and my ex-boyfriend had started back dating for a little while in the summertime, and it was fun. The thing about it is, like, I knew that it was not, as much as I liked him, I knew it wasn't gonna last. We just was traveling and having fun and stuff. And but I had to think about, like, I know this is not it. This is not gonna be it right here. As fun as he is and stuff, this ain't gonna be it. You have to get into your purpose. Like, I don't care how fun it is, don't let it take you out of your alignment. That person, he needs to get about his journey of being with who he's supposed to be with. I ain't the woman for him. Okay. And then I need for my energy to be clear for them. I need it for my energy to be clear because I'm still working on myself. I'm not perfect. Okay. I'm not perfect. I have flaws and stuff. We all have flaws. And so that's why we have to ask God to prepare us and get us ready, so that if your goal is to be a wife, you want to make sure that God has prepared you, so that when he sends a good person, because there are a lot of good men out there, they're fearful too. Okay. They got, they're not looking for a woman to bring them up. Okay. They can survive without a woman. Okay. They got their own shit. If you got somebody that cannot survive without another person, that means that they don't have their shit together. Right. And so, but you have to ask God to prepare you if that's your goal, to be a spouse. Because if you're a woman and you still carrying around bitterness and pain from the past, oh, he hurt it, did me. Girl, you ain't get ready to be no wife to no man. You're gonna be a knife to him, a good man. You'll mess around and mess somebody's son up. That's good. I ain't talking about ones that don't like to work and be looking for women to help to bring them up. Not him. I'm talking about those good ones that's out there for real. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was looking at, and I hope he didn't take it personal. I was looking at this guy. And there's some cool guys too. And I saw them, they posted a video and they're on my Facebook page. And he was working. And it did something to me. I love to see men working. I do. It really turns me on when I see them we're out there working and using their skills and stuff to make money. Right. Um, and not just spending money. Okay. Not just throwing money away. And that's I'm spending on frivolous things and then bragging about it and you ain't got shit. Okay. But out there really making money and using skills to try and better themselves. To me, that's so attractive. And I think women forget that too. Like my mama said that when she was a supervisor, well, she's retired now, and she said something about my mama. Everybody liked talking to her, and she said a lot of the young men that was there would say to her, "Miss A," they called her Miss A. Miss A. I love women that are smart. I love smart women. Okay, I love smart women, and she said they would be just as street and hood as they could be. A lot of them had to get jobs because the judge required for them to get jobs and stuff. Even though they was out in the street dealing with probably street girls, deep down inside, they loved women that was smart and that was about their business, right? And so that's why I say, we have to get ourselves together to prepare, not say, if I could just, I got this ex and I don't know, it's somewhere along the line, he got sorry. Okay. He got sorry. Because he wasn't sorry when I was with him, but I was with him like 20 years ago. Okay, I guess the women have ruined him. And we was on the phone a while back, and he was talking about his son. Okay, and he was like, well, "You remember we was, I don't know why he think I would reminisce on being with him." And he, especially with his mindset now. And so he was like, I told my son. I said, yeah. I told my son, he trying to get his life together, and I'm trying to help him get his life together. I said, good. I'm glad you're doing that. You and your son's like, yeah. I told him he need to get him a female because she probably the female she could help him because she got a car while she at work. He could be out. He trying to rap and shit. He could be driving her car to the studio and she'll help him be a man. I said, look at this stupid, ignorant motherfucker. And then he had the nerve to think that I would want him. I guess he thought he was going to live off of me. I don't let men live off of me. I don't like sorry ass men. Okay. I send them back where they came from when I see they sorry. Okay. They think they're going to jump on my back and take me down. I don't want you. Okay. But I felt like I didn't say one word. I just listened to him. And then I think he realized what he was saying, but he realized, damn, I'm talking to a woman. Like it's really sad that it's people out there like that. So avoid them at all costs, because if you let a person talk long enough, it'll come out. Okay. I think it's so sad, and I know as women, like, we like to try to be fixers, but to me, there's nothing worse than a man sitting up asking a woman for some motherfucking money. To me, that's the red flag right there. Bitch, you want some money from me? That's a red flag. I mean, no pride. I like men that have pride about themselves. Not got that get over spirit. Let me see if I can use or not. You ain't for me. Because I don't let people use me. But I think it's so sad that women have been told that that's how you hold him down, by letting him use you. He ain't got nothing to give you. And so things are just not being taught right anymore. It's get a woman and come up off of the bitch. And I think that's the reason. That's a whole nother story right there. That's the reason why a lot of these men can't win. Bitch, you can't be a king hoe. And if you sitting up looking for a woman to take care of you, and I have to get vulgar like that to let these men know, y'all, you if you gonna be up on your throne, you got to be a damn man. Too many men have stepped down off their throne and became feminine, looking for somebody to take care of them. That ain't how it's supposed to be. The man is supposed to be the head. You can't be the head if you don't believe in getting out there working. They so twisted. Now I'm the head, but your woman is the one that's taking care of the whole household, to include financially what you gonna leave. Okay, lead you right to that front door and slam it after you walk out of it. Okay, so but it's only like that in our community. So it's a lot of disorientation. Y'all know I get real strong when I start talking about that. It ain't nothing worse to me than a sorry man. Okay. It ain't nothing worse. And so, hey, anyways. Mm. But get about living your best life. Okay. And the reason why I be so strong in my stance on that is because people would lie and try to put stuff into the atmosphere on you. And so I have to let it be known. Don't you ever think that you could ever try to get close to me to get something out of me, because I ain't got nothing to give no man that ain't got nothing but a hard time. You want to be friends, maybe I can motivate you, but I can't let you drain too much of my energy, because some of these people that ain't trying to do nothing for themselves, they're energy vampires. So I can't let you drain me. And so I think that's the issue. Like, there's no reciprocity. Like, people want to take. I can't stand no taker. I can't stand no taker. And when they're takers, they are relentless. And so I'm a real good-hearted person. Like, God blesses me. I'm such a good-hearted person. And so it's so sad, because if I go, well, let me help you with this, it's just in my nature. It is. It's just in my nature. Let me not financially. Let me give you an idea on this right here. Okay. Okay, let me give you an idea on this right here. People get to thinking, watch people when you do that, especially when they're disgusting. They get to thinking about, oh, she that easy to try to help. I bet I could use her. Bitch, that's why you ain't got nothing, hoe. Because if God sends an angel into your life, you're supposed to know how to handle that. And then remember when they helped you. Remember, people forget too quick. And that's why they can't get nowhere. Okay. It's so much. A lot of times it ain't bad luck that people are getting. It's not bad luck. I did get all this bad luck. No, it ain't no bad luck. You just reaping what you sow. A lot of these folks is just reaping what they have sown, because they are pathetic. They so dogmatic. They don't know how to deal with good people, and that person ain't hey, they so resourceful. You ain't using them. You can't use a good person. They trying to help you to set you on your path. Look here, bruh. I know the game is to be sold and not to be told, but I'm gonna give you a nugget. Instead of doing this right here, go talk to this person and do it this way right here. That right there is gonna set you ahead of, I came up out for the bitch. And then God take it right back from you. So a lot of you ain't got bad luck. It's just that you reaping what you sow, because you pathetic. Okay. And so that's why I say we have to watch that. Like I said, sometimes I get, when I start seeing, and I love Memphis. Lord knows I do. I love my city. I love the people in my city. That's why when people say, well, I'll go, wait a minute now. I can talk about them, but y'all can't talk about them. Don't y'all talk about them. Let me talk about them, because it's coming from, when I talk about my city, it's coming from another place of love and hurt, because of the patheticness and the embarrassment that some of these people get on national platforms and do. Make the city look bad, right? But but my city got to do better. Okay. And I believe um that the tides are turning, and that the people in the city want better. Okay. I believe the tides are turning. The people want better in the city. And I could see some things are changing. So that's another story though. So I don't give up hope on my city. I just love my city and pray. And I believe that a lot of people's eyes are starting to open on a lot of things, right? But anyways, y'all, stop trying to be understood by people who can't give you nothing, or ain't gonna give you nothing if they can. Okay. And just get about living your best life. Get into alignment with the Almighty, the omnipresence, um, the universal God. That's who you need to be into alignment with. Okay. Because I'm gonna tell you something about the universal God, or God, or whatever it is, the higher power, whatever it is that people call it. What's up, Cypress TV? If you get into alignment with that, if you get into the rhythm with that, God says, I'll touch the heart of the king, the people that's committed to misunderstanding you. He'll turn their hearts, and they'll be giving you lifelines, and they don't even know why they're doing it. God says, it is I who has the heart of the king and can turn it. Okay. So we get about trying to please the wrong people. Okay. When all we got to do is start vibrating on another frequency and get into alignment with the higher power, and leave it to God to start dealing with other people. We start trying to deal with them. Okay. It's God that convicts them. It's God that you have to reap what you sow. You have to reap what you sow. And I don't sit back and wait for people to reap what they sow. I just know I get into alignment with God. And when people have done me wrong, I know that it's coming back. I don't wait on it. I don't be sitting peeking around corners trying to see if it has happened. I just know the laws of the earth. And that is, whatever man soweth, that's just what they are going to reap. Okay. And so I get to thinking about, and I'm not trying to get off other subjects. I get to thinking about, I know I did the show on air, but I forgot to even, once I thought about some things that I didn't say. Okay. And hey, I never wished this up on him. I just knew he was going to reap what he sowed. And so I got to thinking about, I'm a chosen person. We all are in our own right. And that man had tried to get a girl to kill me. Here, my right hand to the Lord. Okay. And he felt like this girl had been having mental issues. He tried to get that girl to kill me. But I'm going to tell you how good, because I'm in alignment with the higher power. That girl started reaching out to me. Now, this was another girl, not the one that went to jail. This was another one he was working on. And so she had admitted that she had mental issues. And so but she was very intelligent. Okay. When she was on her meds, I guess she was a highly intelligent woman. And she started reaching out to me on Facebook. Here, my right hand to the Lord. God, if I'm lying, this is on my dad's grave. Okay. She started reaching out to me on Facebook, on my Real Talk with Tamara page, making little light conversations. Okay. And then after, reaching out to me, sending me messages and stuff, it was friendly. She asked if we could talk. At first, I just did not believe it. And it was really weird to me. It's just, I think about some stuff now that was kind of weird. He really had her going. But anyways, when you have a light on your life, and you have the Almighty God on your side, everything has to fall into alignment. Everything has to align. And when we talk, she says that he had told her that I got her fired on a job, and I was calling DHS on her and some more stuff. I didn't even know this woman like that. And she said, I said, huh? I said, I don't even know your, at first I just thought it was something crazy. And then she said, oh my God, T, I believe you. She said, he tried to get me to kill you. She said he had told her because this man was so scared that I was doing an investigation on what had happened to his son. Now, let me just say this. With private investigators, when we take on those cases of people wish that they could hire private investigators to help to reignite cold cases, right? PIs are that's an asset if you can afford one, because the police have so many cases they can't work on just one case. So oftentimes when people have money, they get private investigators to go reignite cases and get information that police officers don't get, because they don't have the time to work on to put a lot of energy in just one case. And so this man felt like I was trying to get information on what had happened to his son, which is weird within itself, okay? Because anybody would have been happy for a peer, but I never had an interest in it. I hate that happened to his family, but I never had an interest in it. But why would you want to try to get somebody to kill me? Um, because you scared that I'm trying to figure out what happened to your family. That was weird within itself. And so she told me, he said, and I told all of this to the police. And that's another reason why they was watching him. Because one thing that the investigator told me with him was, I don't really know if it has anything to do with that, or if it has something to do with, because they really felt like at some point that he was being paid and working with the people that had took young Dolph out to try, that's kind of what they had felt. But I said all that to say this. I'm not gonna get all into that because I think something's still going on with that. But I said all that to say this. Um, um, when you are in alignment, okay, even those that they try to put out on a mission to hurt you fall into alignment. It is God that turns the heart of the king. And I believed every word that she said because I knew that he was evil. And one thing she said was, she said, Miss T, he's on meth. And when he's high on meth, he becomes a sadistic killer. And I believed her because he heard a girl, he took out a girl in Ohio that he had been choked her to death. Okay. I knew all this. That's why I was on here screaming on every rooftop. And I couldn't understand. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that because, anyways, but it's God who turns the heart of the king. So even when they plotting on you, God will turn the heart of somebody and get them to expose everything. Okay. And some people might say, well, how do you know she wasn't lying? I don't believe that she was lying. I don't. He was just that evil. Okay. He had a fixation on me because number one, I had figured out who he was and he knew it. And um, and then so he got scared, which is weird that I was trying to investigate his son's case. That was weird within itself. Why would you be mad or scared about that? Okay. So when you fall into alignment, that is what happens. Okay. That is what happens. Um, God will take care of you. I think about that scripture where God says, your enemies come at you one way and then they flee in 7 different ways. In other words, they come at you one way and then they start turning on each other and scattering out in 7 different ways because God confuses the language. Okay? They think they've gone together and become on one accord. And they think they're going to lie and plot on you. And then because you're in alignment with God, you got people praying for you. You're in alignment, you praying. God start confusing the language and they start turning on each other and they get found out and start turning on each other and start scattering out. We see that happened in the Young Dolph's case. Okay. So stay about living your best life. Don't be afraid of success. People should be your least worry. Once you master just chilling by yourself, listen, I be loving it. Like exercising, get your body right. When you get up and you go to that gym, or you get up and you start walking, and then you start getting that energy back and you see that you're doing something to get back to yourself, that mind, body, and soul starts to line up, you become unstoppable. You don't care if you sit alone, you read, and that's because you consistently gaining knowledge. Knowledge is power. You start to vibrate on another frequency, and anything that's low vibrational starts to fall off. And when you start vibrating on another frequency, you start running into people on a higher frequency that can be beneficial to your life. Let me tell you what happened. I had been going to physical therapy, okay? Had a little car wreck, my back and stuff being hurt. Still be hurting, okay? And when I was in physical therapy, minding my own business, and it was this white lady in there. And I'm just sitting there on one of those machines, and she was sitting on the one next to her, and she's talking to one of the guys that's a physical therapist, and she's talking about the houses in the downtown market, and I was like, oh, I butt into the conversation. I was like, I was like, the houses in Harbortown and stuff, they are so expensive. I said, but I'm just waiting on a foreclosure or something because I just love the area. And she was like, oh, have you seen this house? Like, there's a house right now that's in foreclosure. She's like, I know because I got a lot of real estate down there. What I do is I buy them and then I resell them. I said, oh, so you the reason that the houses are jacked up like that because you hurry up and buy them and then resell them. Rich white lady, because what she do is they don't have to be in foreclosure for her to buy them. She just buy them because it's acquired there in Harbortown, and the houses are especially for the medical students and the doctors and stuff, and she just buy them and just jack the price up. And she was like, well, have you seen this house right here? And it's this one right here is like a river view. And I was like, dog, that would kind of be in my price range or whatever. The only issue with it was it was like a 2-bedroom. I don't want a 2-bedroom house. If I'm gonna buy a house, it's got to be more than 2 bedrooms. But anyways, hey, I started exchanging conversation with that lady, and she was very open about quite a bit of stuff. She's like, when this is a site when they get ready to put their houses up on the market, and I just started giving me a lot of information that I'm gonna be able to use, as it relates to the market in the Harbortown, for the houses. So when you start to vibrate on a higher frequency, you run into people that can be beneficial to you. But I think so often what people try to do is they try to bring the garbage with them. I gotta hold John down. John can't sit in rooms ain't got the character to sit in rooms that God could take you into to help to elevate you. He'll have people looking at you with their nose turn up. He'll get you kicked out of rooms, or a little Bonquisha, but because she eat booty, you determined to bring Bonquisha, okay? And she ain't got the character to sit in rooms that God been preparing you for, okay? It was never meant to be. So what you got to do is drop the dead weight and just start elevating and vibrating on higher frequencies. When people say to you, "You done changed," you think you better than me now. You can say whatever you want to. I'm gone. I'm higher. Y'all's low vibration. Y'all saw me when I was trying to come up. You didn't try to get with me on it. You didn't try to come with me on it. You didn't try to help me on it. You didn't try to better yourself while I was on the journey. And now that I've worked myself up to a higher frequency, you think I'm going to pull you up to bring me back down? Hell no, I'm gone. Okay. That's how you have to do, people. Because folks don't want to do nothing now. But once you work hard and get to another level, they'll want you to pull them up. And oftentimes you ain't even got yourself up steady enough. So they'll take you right on back down if you ain't careful. And then say, that nigga thought he was something. Look at him. He ain't got none no more. I'm from Memphis. They do's it. Okay. Yeah. What's up, the Cyp dog? What's going on? What's the word, Cypress? I got to go get me some vegan whipped cream, y'all. I'm out of it. Y'all, that vegan whipped cream is so good. It don't have no sugar in it. And I put it in my coffee because I use the powdered creamer, and I don't use that liquid creamer because it's got a lot of sugar in it. That vegan whipped cream and powdered creamer with no sugar I get from Sam's, and it tastes so freaking good. And I get that Colombian coffee from Sam's, the big thing. I'm a coffee fanatic. I forgot this. I need to tell my mama, and I forgot this. I don't know if I want a Keurig. Am I saying it right? Keurig. Is it called Keurig? I like the pot of coffee. Anyways, y'all. Anyways, I need to see what time the bank opens, child. Because I got to go get me some money. See, this one I be needing me a man. So I can say, baby, I need to go get my hair done. And he cash out me the money or just bring it to me. Or something like that. I be loving those kind right there. So those are the ones you do be wanting to cook for and cut their toenails and shit like that. Girl, my man be taking care of me. I ain't stunning you. But instead I gotta go to my bank and give me some money, go get my hair done. I'm getting color in my weave this time. Yeah, my hair has grown. It's so thick. It is just getting thicker because of those good products I be using. That's why I went ahead and washed and treated my own hair. Because like I said, they don't use the products I use on my hair at the beauty shop. They be cheap, and I puts the best on top of my head. Somebody gonna get mad about this. She always talking about she use the best. Bitch, you need to go to the to where I be going, to the Marshalls, and get you some of that good stuff. Okay, I go back there and I be going through all the shampoo and stuff because they already said that rosemary and all of that. I likes to put that on my head and let it sit up on the dryer. It be thickening my hair out. And the leave-in, I use the deep conditioner, and then I got some leave-in conditioner, and then I be using that rose and that rosemary. And my hair be smelling so good. When I get to the beauty shop, I tell the stylist, look, don't even worry about washing my hair. Go ahead and braid me down and sew my weave in, color it, and sew it in, child, because your products ain't good enough. Your products ain't good enough for my hair. What's up, Diane? She said, "Good morning." Look, oh, Diane, listen, I was about to. I almost went back to my mama house. Y'all, I don't mean no harm when I be saying bitch. I'm gonna have to stop saying that because I be really joking. Okay, I be really joking, being a little ghetto, just having a little fun. Okay, um, but let me stop saying that because I don't want nobody to think I'm being disrespectful. Okay, to them because I just really be just having fun. Um, I almost went back to my mama's house. Listen, I got to thinking about my mama chicken dressing and them greens. And mama, that for some reason, that sweet potato pie. I talked about my mama making all those sweet potato pies, y'all. And she only made 4, 3 or 4. Because I talked about it so bad. Because she always make 8. I'm like, why you always make them pies? And they be sitting in the refrigerator. Y'all, I don't know what she did this time. That sweet potato pie was so good. And she was like, well, it ain't but a half of a pie left. I guess you happy. I guess you satisfied. You talked me into not making all them pies. Now it ain't none left. I said, I sure hate it because this pie was good. And I shoot, it was so good. I almost stole one and brought it home. I should have did it too. I really should have did it. I almost did it because when I'm fixing my plates and stuff to bring home, I saw that pie sitting up there. I was like, I could put my plate on top of this pie and take it on out the house. I should have did it, but I didn't do it. And I wanted some more. I wanted some more of that chicken dressing and green so bad. I had to get on up. You know what I ended up fixing me? I ain't want to put no chicken or nothing in the oven. I went into my kitchen and I saw a can of sardines because I didn't feel like driving way back out to Whitehaven. And I just chopped up me some sardines and some onions and put some mustard and mayo on it and put it in my seaweed. And that's what I ate and went to sleep. I know folks gonna say that's nasty. That was my last can of sardines. When I stop at the store to get my vegan whipped cream, I'm gonna stock up. I'm going to Cash Saver where they're cheaper at, and I'm gonna get me about 10 cans of sardines because they are a good snack to have. Okay. I like sardines. Remember when we was growing up, like my aunts and stuff was like, you're not supposed to eat sardines in front of a man. Like you're not supposed sardines in the can. So no, if a man is coming over or a man, you got your male friend around, you do not eat sardines in front of him. You have to take the can and stuff out the house as soon as you open it, though. After you finish eating, I'm gonna stop and get me a lot of them today. Down people like at Cash Saver, they be like 89 cents. I like to go to the Cash Saver in Midtown. I'm gonna have to stop telling y'all where I go, child, because I don't want Orange Mound quit sitting in the damn parking lot waiting on me. Or one of his people's. Because I always be talking about I go to the doggy park. I went to look up one day and me and my grandbaby in that doggy park. And he'll know exactly who I am because I have all my damn puppies with me. They'll be saying that's gotta be her with all them damn puppies. The one with all the puppies running after the grandbaby. And I ain't gonna be able to see. I'm gonna have to start taking my peacemaker when I take my grandbaby over there to I'm gonna have to start putting my peacemaker in the wagon with the puppies in. No, I can't put it on my grandbaby. I'm gonna have to start putting it in. She said, "Don't start." I ain't gonna start. I ain't gonna mess. Because I was getting ready to start messing with him this morning. But somebody asked me, did I see that um video that he did? Yeah, I saw it. You know what? Um ooh, hold on, y'all. Yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button for me, okay? Hold on, I'm trying to see something. Hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all. Anyways, I need to put my hair on up in a little ponytail and get ready to get on out here. It's like it's supposed to rain today. It's supposed to rain today. Anyways, you guys, I am going to get off of here so I can get ready to go to the beauty shop. We'll get on tonight and do a we'll do a thing on Quet's interview. How about that? When I get home tonight, we may do like a review on Quet's interview, and then I want to talk about Romika Meeks and some more stuff. So we'll probably do that tonight. Okay. Listen, I love you guys. I'll talk with you later.